Over the course of this weekend, our country was, of course, struck by multiple mass shootings. We are a country that's grown very accustomed to mass shootings, but this stood out. And we had two, one in El Paso and one in Dayton, Ohio. The death toll in both extremely tragic and rising. Police say that one suspect is in custody after a mass shooting inside a Walmart in El Paso, Texas on Saturday that left there, it says 21. That was updated as of this morning. We've received word that it is up to 22 people were killed, at least 26 wounded in that one attack. And as I said a minute ago, it takes a lot at this point for mass shootings to sort of break through how desensitized we've become, but this one sure does. And it was joined very soon after by another attack in Dayton, Ohio, where 9 people were killed, at least 27 wounded. The shooter was killed on the scene. The shooter in the El Paso attack was taken into custody. This one in Dayton, Ohio was wearing body armor and using a .223 caliber high capacity magazine and had additional magazines with him. He was wearing body armor, so you can probably guess what sort of terror attack this was. Right. And so that's how we closed out the weekend, was 2 horrific attacks. We're gonna give you details on what we know about the attackers, what brand of terrorism this actually was. But I was out of state. I was busy with work that I was doing. You were following this in real time. How did you feel throughout this weekend as more and more details came out?
Yeah, I mean, the same as you always feel, horrible. Worried if this is gonna be what makes something finally happen. Frustrated seeing all of the people who actually have the power to do something about this, saying they're praying, saying their hearts are going out to these people. Yeah, it's horrifying. Over and over, people shouldn't have to deal with this type of trauma, let alone the fact that people shouldn't have to die at the grocery store. Mm-hmm. You know, I was thinking about those parents and how people were doing back to school shopping, and you think about how often you've been in that exact same position, how you have to go to the grocery store later in the day. Yeah, the same. Yeah. Because this happened, what, 2 days before and 2 days before that, you feel the same. As upset as you always are. And then this one also was, the death toll kept rising even up until this morning. And I think on Twitter there was a woman who was looking for her little brother, and unfortunately they found out that he passed away. He was shot and killed in this, and it's horrible. And then also you find out details about the shooter and you are not surprised.
Yeah, exactly. And we're gonna talk about some of the attempted obvious explanations that we always hear after something like this happens. Yeah, it was devastating though that the death toll kept rising. I listened to a podcast this morning where they talked about a mother who had shielded her infant. She was alive when the podcast came out and had died earlier this morning. I believe she was the 21st victim. On the thoughts and prayers, we're not gonna go super in depth because you've heard us talk about it a million times. I understand that people here who are not believers often feel very pandered to when politicians have nothing but thoughts and prayers. It's past that now. If you are a believer, you should feel incredibly pandered to, because the thing about their thoughts and prayers are that obviously they're not going to help us, but also they're not doing the prayers. Marco Rubio's not on his knees next to his bed every night when there's a mass shooting. It is nothing more than a tweet at this point. And so whether you believe in some higher power or not, they're spitting in your face every time that's what they give you and nothing else. Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.